Greetings, everybody. It's Jim. As you can see by my trusty, dusty Hard World shirt on today, we are talking about some fantasy RPG goodness. And of course, the fantasy shirt is drawn by Richard Lushek. And you can see this picture right over here is also drawn by Richard Lushek. Is all Hard World items. And it is Hard World that we're talking about today because it is time for the first book was the Kingdom of Caldor. And this is a quintessential medieval kingdom. And the next was the Kingdom of Meldrin, known as the Wizard's Isle. Now, the thing is about these books, they are basically system agnostic. If you don't know anything about Hard World yet, you can definitely use them, whether you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, Fantasy Trip, Savage Worlds, Fate, it doesn't matter. These are beautiful books, and it's just compiled, and artwork's terrific. But anyway, today's third installment is about a kingdom that is definitely broken up into small factions, and they're all fighting for power. That is the theme of this kingdom. And if any depiction of what it's about is done by the artwork alone, again, drawn by Richard Lushek, seems to me the most violent of the books so far. So today, I am going to be going over with you the Kickstarter for the Hard World, the Kingdom of Rethem. So what makes Rethem interesting is the idea that they are very strong, but also a very violent society. It's just how they fix things in their world. So much so that King Shafir III actually prefers his castle in Shostim rather than the royal castle in Golotha, just because, well, let's put it this way, the last 5 of 7 monarchs have met a violent end, okay? So when you have something like that, that tells you what their mindset is about things. And the thing is, their whole society is almost on the brink of civil war. And it's not just because the nobles are doing, infighting and stuff, even though that's definitely part of it. There's also a lot of the kingdom's politics are actually dominated by 2 factions of religious orders, the religious orders of Agric and Morgath. Okay, so when you've got that in there compounded with the infighting that normally goes on, as you can imagine from any kingdom, this is really just a powder keg waiting to erupt. So one of the things that I really predict about Rethem that I think game masters really like is the idea that the entire book is pretty much self-contained as far as things to do. You can run a whole campaign just in Rethem alone. Okay, I mean, sure, it does have connections to the Kingdom of Candé, as I mentioned, to the south, Tharda to the east, but you don't have to have your characters make this long journey to another kingdom to interact with another political faction. All right. This can happen right here in Rethem because there's so many factions and so closer together that you won't have to make a lot of wilderness checks just to get to the next plot point. Unless you do some kind of Game of Thrones thing where they, teleported from one spot to the next within a matter of seconds, right? So to avoid that, if you want to keep because I know a lot of you want to keep continuity of realism as close as possible. That's what Harn fans like. So definitely Rethem is going to be the vehicle to have quick interactions and not too much travel time between plot points. All right, so I want to talk about the Kickstarter and why you should be jumping in on this one specifically, but let's start with the tempting teaser that's no longer available. You may have noticed that we usually had on the other Kickstarters for $1, you could have gotten 200 pages of material that included Harn decks, Harn World. These are going back to their normal prices. That means Harn Dex is going for $50 again, and Harn World is going back to $30 again. And the PDF Harn World map is $9.95 also. And Cities of Town, I think that's only going to be $1, maybe $2. I'm not sure. But that deal has been discontinued, okay? And it's not coming back anytime soon, maybe not ever, quite honestly. All right. So good on you. If you got it, don't worry. It has not left your account. If you bought it, it's for yours forever. Good on you. Okay. Now, speaking of jumping on deals while they're there, that's what I'm going to be talking about now, because both of these books, the regular retail price for any of our hardbacks is $59. The Kickstarter price is $49. But now, because this is our third installment, if you want all 3 books, and I don't know how long this is going to last. I mean, it'll last for this Kickstarter, but I don't think we're going to do it necessarily in the future for, again, the same reasons as the $1 tempting teaser. You can get all of them for $40 each. Okay, so $120 you can get all 3 hardcovers, a savings of $60. All right. So definitely jump on it. And the reason is basically the idea is, hey, let's start people off with all of them, get them on the shelf because now it's starting to look like it. It was one thing when we had Kingdom of Cawdor and it was just sitting there by itself. It's a beautiful book, mind you. I mean, the interior is terrific and all of this with the artwork and the way it's the page shine and everything like that. I mean, it's just a beautiful, well put together book. But now that we have the Kingdom of Meldrin with it, and we're going to have the Kingdom of Rethem next to it, now you can already see that these are going to look beautiful on the shelf. It is happening. We are making all 9, and we've had requests for more, like we're going to do Harndex as a hardback, most likely. And the Bestiary, most likely. I don't see why we wouldn't. First things first, though, we are going to do the Kingdoms. So some of you might be wondering, well, should I just wait until all 9 of them are out and then get a deal at the end? I can't say that's going to happen. Plus, you kind of want to use these now. You're going to want to because they are beautiful books. Now, I want to point out that when we did Cawdor the first time, some of our books got beat up a little bit in 2 different ways. The first thing was getting them from China. There was they did not really protect some of them well, and they got beat up, and we had to put them to the side, scratch and dents and all that stuff. But also, when we sent them out the first time, we only put them in a little bag like this. They really did not protect it whatsoever. We were disappointed by that. But now, not only do we put it in the bag like this, and we learned our lesson from this, we put it in one of these as well. You get double protection, okay? And everybody's been getting the books really good. Now, there's another reason why you've been getting the books also good. Like I said, they did not send us these books very protected at all. It was kind of a miracle that we got so many books in good condition as we did. But now we talked. It's because we wanted to use the same company because the quality was so good. We were kind of surprised, like, why didn't you send us these protected a little bit more? Well, now not only is the box they come in protected, they send us 5 or 6 at a time in a box like this. So hardly any of the new Meldrins got any kind of damage whatsoever. Now, like I said, we have plenty of the Cawdor, we have plenty of these Meldrin, so we weren't sending out any of them that were scratch and dent. We just weren't. So that is the good thing there. So now really feel comfortable if you want to get all 3 books, because if you were on the fence for 2 reasons, a lot of people were like a little bit like, oh, Cawdor didn't come in too well. I got it beat up a little bit gun shy. Well, now that we've proved it with Meldrin that got so well protected to get to you, from both angles, from overseas and from us to you, there is nothing to worry about. There's nothing at all, nothing stopping you from picking up all the books at once. Definitely, you should be doing so. So if you want more information about the Kingdom of Rethem, I'm going to highly suggest you go to the link down below and check out Ardwolf's video about the Kingdom of Rethem. But break out the popcorn because it's a big one. He dives deep. And when you're done with that video, or if you're ready now, make sure you go to Kickstarter and order the hardback for the Kingdom of Rethem.